This right here tripped me out. There are owners of private prisons that are suing the states that they are contracted to put people in prison in right now in this country. Let me say that again. Now, there are owners of private prisons that have been contracted by the states, put their prison in that state and put people in prison, that are suing those states because they promised them a certain amount of occupancy, and since they've changed some of their laws to be more lenient on locking people up, which has reduced the population in the prison, and now they're suing them for that makeup because they promised them more people than they got.
All right, family. All right. Oh, riggedy right. Hey. What's going on, family, this morning? November the 10th. Spotify OG family, what's going on out there? How are y'all doing? We hope that you are having a powerful, impactful, and blessed day today, family, right? Tomorrow is Veterans Day, y'all, right? Tomorrow is Veterans Day, right? We gonna have ourselves a good old conversation today, family. And then we're gonna go about our business, right? With that said, let's start. Family, welcoming us, a different view family who believe in, who love after, who tired of, family. We tired of seeing some things, man. Yeah, tired of seeing some things, right? Energized, who are energized and understanding even though we're tired, that we can rise upon a different energy to lead us and guide us to higher places, family, right? Those who hunger and seek, searching for that which is a different view, family, welcome in. Today's topic, we're going to talk about private prisons, family. We're going to talk about the prison system today. Right, now we have alluded to a lot of this on this podcast before. We're going to talk about operating in masses system today. Right, there are certain things, family, that we miss because we're chasing after our massa instead of our maker. Okay, this is no slight on our anybody, brother or sister that believes in something different. And before we get going, because I did not do this yet, let us mute the sound, right? This way we are not hearing a whole bunch of buzzes and whistles and all that kind of thing, right? Just to have us, just a basic old conversation, family. The next time around, you know, the topics that we'll talk on, we'll deal with the people groups on this nation. Because we in Thanksgiving season, family, right? And for some odd reason, we get to think, you know, shout out to the people here who are decorating for Christmas, right? During the Thanksgiving season. Number one, you know, you got to put that stuff in. We remember back in the day, right? It'd be like December 1st, you know, shout out to elders in the community one time. It'd be right around December 1st, a little bit right after Thanksgiving. Folks was putting up, you know, probably right a little bit right after Thanksgiving. Instead of the consumeristic, barbaric way we operate the day after Thanksgiving, you know, people were putting up your Christmas decorations and such, right? Once you understand the farce of that, which is this holiday generated to support the United States and not the people of the United States, then you begin to understand you might as well get that thing started early. Now, for those who are pro-Thanksgiving, right, let's have this conversation. Because we like having objective conversations here. The idea, when you go back into the tribes during this time season, as fall is upon us and the seasons are changing, okay? So you get your Indian summer, as they say, right? Where there's bleed over in certain places. We probably still, of course, also with climate change that we don't like talking about, right? That at the end of it all, again, our bodies change over time, but I guess the climate can't, right? I digress, okay? So now as the things are changing, okay, again, we just like making excuses for massa. We just, you know, and maybe my New York accent came out and saying massa right there, but we this is what we like doing. The man whooping on us, beating on us, regulating us, degrading us on a daily basis, but we stay stuck right there, man. There's some good house Negroes out there. We blame Uncle Tom. No, I blame Sambo. When I read that story, I don't blame Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom, the only one that has any sense. But Sambo, and Simon Legree, those people you should be careful of. Which is also not everybody in that story, right? It's certain people. It's not everybody. Again, I digress. Family, at the end of the day, understand that your defeat is their profit. You can use cute verses and catchphrases to get around this idea, but that is what it is. Your defeat, your demise, your deregulation is their regulations. That is their law, set up like that. Again, the way it is said in Scripture is a form of godliness and denying the power thereof. We don't get concerned anymore when we hear Christians like defending this thing, because we realize historically, especially when you speak on the so-called black preacher, that the black preacher in the plantation was put there to make sure the slaves stayed docile for massa, using God as an excuse to do so. Which is why in conversation on TikTok a while ago, again, I broke my own rule, family, to get up and explain yourself to folks, right? You believe what you believe. If you believe there's no God, there's no God. If you believe there is a God, there is one, right? Again, we here believe there is God over all. If folks want to bring back the one who is like, destroying black towns and doing all that, we just want to put this out there, okay, for folks to understand. We're not making up two different gods. That's not me. I am rereading and believing in a story that someone else is telling me. And again, with the thinking that God gave me, this is my reaction to it. When I believe in another God, this ain't like some Sumerian, Persian, Assyrian type of, we're not doing that, okay? What we're saying is, if you're going to give me one created and is killing, I'm telling you that's a separate one from the one who is dying for folks to provide salvation. That's what we're telling you. Simple and plain language. Right? This is why I never got down with Christians who sit there and tell you that, God is putting sickness on you to teach you something. That don't make sense. Why provide healing and to put cancer and all that? And then what we do, we like to do the spin. Well, no, that's not what it is. And we're some good argumentative people, but we don't try to find anything in the opposite direction. Family, on this podcast, we look the opposite way because we done heard everything already. We know God is expansive and there's something else. We know that. This is not, you're looking at life as it evolves. That's why I don't get on evolutionists. Life is evolving, but it's also made consistent. This is why we say there's consistency that is always changing. What worked in the 20s, family, is not working in 2020. Okay? And you can just go back. What worked in 1920 did not work in 1820. Times change. People change. Thought processes change. You can look up a thing online talking about your own atoms, where when you get down to the deepest level of your atoms, they shift and change. Let's just do it in real time here. We ain't tripping. We ain't tripping, family. Again, and as we said, we have to keep our minds open to these things. And when we don't, we run into serious issues. Okay? When you look up, subatomic particles can constantly change. Again, electrons, protons, these things, while they stay stable, okay? These are things that you find that have flux to them. These are different articles from scientists studying atoms and us, family, okay? That make up us. Subatomic particles are constantly changing, while others are stable. This is coming from the maker above, family. Again, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Look at Maybe we're not considering what's being said. Yesterday is a different time from today, which will be a different time from tomorrow. But still, there is a similitude going throughout it all. So how a person would dress back in the 17, 16, 1700, 18, 20, whatever, would it take whatever time period, don't matter, right? Today will either look similar or a little bit different than. So why do we get hung up on how people dress, family? When you go back and you look, no one had on clothes, why do we bug out, right? If you had female societies back then, we suck down the syrup. This is why I've said it this way. We're going to continue. We suck down the syrup so long now. We don't know what the taste of other stuff is. We don't know what water tastes like. We don't, we don't know what certain things taste like no more because we've been on what they telling us. I bet y'all as we played this clip this morning, nobody knew. These private prisons are sitting here suing folks. They're suing the states because they've made deals to make sure certain amounts of people are in these jails, family. When we speak on justice, I like this certain way that it is said on a podcast. Shout out Real Black Consciousness Forum podcast one time, right? We have mentioned this on the podcast before. We listened to a bunch of information. We listened to a bunch of podcasts. This is one here that is impactful from certain thought processes on how it's helped me, right, see the world. And we'll do this from time to time when we shout out folks. These are things that are impactful. We're already talking about a book here from Man Hardeep Singh called The 12 Universal Laws. I suggest people read that book. All right, it's a PDF online. You ain't got to buy it. But if you bought it and it was in your library, it wouldn't hurt you any. Okay, because it explains the idea there are natural laws that are ruling and reigning here, coding left behind by the fashioner, designer, and maker, creator of it all. We have to be careful how much we talk about who is masculine and who is feminine. Everybody can develop muscles, family. Okay? Everybody got some form of body hair on them. Again, we go too far with a thing, and then what we do is divide each other up on these differences. But that's what Massa did. And taught you how to do so. Entropy and rebirth is all around us. That's how this is made. That's how this works. This ain't no result of the devil coming in. Family, this is how this works. We try to spiritualize and spookify too much. This is just one of the again, as the wrong is done in the gut. This is why we go back to things, because they connect. You go back into the Garden of Eden, you look at the wrong that was done. Instead of man taking his responsibility, he blames the woman for the wrong she did, which sets off a chain reaction that you see till today, where people do the same thing. I am not worried about what a woman is doing wrong. Right? What is in my influence to affect that thing? Since people like to use this excuse, it's your world. Like, the only individual that's important is you. Unfortunately, if that was the case, then there'd be no other people down here. But I digress. Right? If you're going to tell me that we have personal responsibility, we can talk about that all day long. But the idea, family, that you are just you and no one else matters, that doesn't make sense. Because that's not the case. Or else you'd be the only one down here. That's a lie that Mass are kicking to you to keep an individualistic mindset where you never band together with anybody. And as a result, you're easier to pick off that way. That is different. Now, I will give this some credit. That is different than the idea that you should always rely on other people. Because that is also out of balance. There's a balance to these things. Let's read an article here that goes along with what this brother was just saying. Straight No Chase 1. This is where you find this if you're looking, or you can just look up on TikTok is where I found this. All you got to do on TikTok is just search private prisons suing states. I believe that's how I wrote it. I think wrote it. That's how I typed it. I guess writing now is typing on the keyboard is writing, but I digress, right? Yeah, private prisons suing, right? Or suing states. It's gonna come right up. But again, if you was looking for the channel where this came from, where I pulled it from, again, just to give credit to where it's due. Straight No Chase 1. Straight is spelled Strait. All one word. You're gonna find it. You'll find the video right there, right? We're gonna repost it on. I'll repost it on my deal here, just so people have it. They want to look. You can go to my page, KJ's Clock, right? And you'll find it there, right? But family, understand now. This is coming from Tufts University. Tufts is a university out of from what I'm seeing, out of Massachusetts. All right. So shout out to him for doing this article. Just check some of this out. We'll read this here, and then we're gonna go on about it. Again, next time around. Let me bring this into the conversation just so that people understand where we're at here. Within these universal laws that I mentioned. Currently on TikTok, we've been doing a thing here. It's number 7. So again, you can find some of those deals if you go under my deal at KJ's Clock, right? You'll find it. This is a good time to put in where you can find the podcast. Again, at A Different View 80 on YouTube. We have seen the views increase on YouTube, family. Thank you for your support there, right? Like, share, and alert. Sometimes I won't say subscribe. We won't really have a subscription as of yet. We don't need to rush it, right? Got nothing but time. As a result, yes, you'll find it on YouTube at A Different View 80. All right under the folder there, A Different View. You can listen to whichever different ones you want to from your YouTube app, right? You've got it on Spotify. That's the OGs, like we opened with Spotify. Pandora was the newest one added on. Also Apple Podcast, right? So we're there. The name of the title of the podcast is A Different View. The artist's name is KJ. And so you can find all that info there. And of course, also we do some lives from time to time of the podcast on TikTok at KJ's Clock, right? So that's where you can find me there. Link up, follow me, and you can get all the goodies. You get all the goodies, right? In these laws here, the last 3 that we have been looking at, right, as we go along on the list, 4, 5, and 6, right? So 4 is the law of, I believe, correspondence, right? So it's one thing, there's another. Inner world affecting the outer world, right? One thing corresponds to the other. Let's just do this in real time because we talk about words and phrases, family, right? What is the definition of correspond? Just while you're here, we'll just, again, you can kind of go off of, hey, it's things that go with, okay? I mean, again, some of these things. So when you look on Webster, not Webster, Oxford's dictionary, is just, again, real simple Google search, correspond definition, right? Have a close similarity, match or agree almost exactly. Communicate by exchanging, this is as a verb, to correspond with, right? Letters, emails, or other messages. Again, as you see one thing, it corresponds to the other. Evil corresponds with good. I know folks like to say there is no such thing as either. Again, there is a this or that. That's the way the song goes. You could get with this. Huh? Come on, somebody. Or you could get with that. This is where it's at, okay? That's why, listen, if folks don't believe in God, that's your business. We're not out here to persuade nobody. Believe the information you go on about it. Again, this is all wrapped around this idea of private prisons. Somebody in their mind believes we got to make sure there's enough of you, whoever you are, in the prison. We already know that it's brown, dark skin, right? Starts with black folks. Brown folks is in there too. Tan folks is in there too. And poor white folks is in there too, family. This is the slave class. You keep them there. Whether you make up laws once they get free to put them back in there, you set up a society to be able to have certain mental images printed in the mind that keeps you in this environment. This is on top of your own personal responsibility. A long time ago, we said as far as the gangs are in the community, you don't even need to call the police. If gang folks would stop hurting each other, you'd focus on your community. And now when some fool-headed morons come in our community, we already got our own police force. Again, the light horse, excuse me. Let me just make sure I'm saying this right. Light horse native. Yeah, the historic name for mounted police forces of several Native American tribes. Of course, it's always from the civilized tribes. The Choctaw, Chickasaw, Cherokee, Muskogee, Seminole. The original Light Horse was a mounted police force in Indian Territory. When you talk about Indian Territory, that's over in Oklahoma. I'm just saying what it is. We make your own stuff. Again, down the road, this thing got a little, as soon as massa come into a thing, it gets sideways. But they have their own force, family. Have your own do for self. This is an idea that's been brought across and this does not mean I'm Muslim, but we respect those who have wise sayings, no matter who it is, no matter what belief it is. Because I can see the energy that is put there from the Creator through all these different things people are saying. So I don't have to be boisterous like I am right because I am Christian. That is sick. We do that mess. It shows boastfulness. It shows disrespect on a high level. Christ ain't going around doing that mess. Why do we? Again, I'm not deflecting nothing. I had put up a thing on Facebook talking about the stuff that has gone on in this world. The killings, the destruction, the death. Christians have funded. Catholics signing off on slavery. Oh, why we got to keep talking about it? Nobody has that problem when you're talking about the Holocaust, though. Right? Nobody has that problem in speaking in the opposite vein when you talk about Pearl Harbor, right? We're going to come up on that here in the early part of December. Again, another war where massa got involved, getting innocent people involved in it and unnecessary death to be able to keep the stolen goods taken. That is what World War II is about. With the guise of the Nazi part, which people can see clearly, but don't get it twisted when you have Nazi conferences going on in the United States, of whom they are either at that point before they got involved in the war, a neutral party. Family, you gotta, anybody and everybody, when something is foul and funky, just in the opposite light. See, again, correspondence, right? There's certain ways that this acts when you're not doing these kinds of things and when you are. So when people are acting foul and funky, they have no problem teaming up and banding with each other and doing conferences, and you get involved in all that kind of thing, trying to up this. Be careful, some of these organizations we're part of, family, because they're okay with your subjugation, not your uplifting. I don't care which organization you talk about. Meanwhile, while everybody's off the SNAP benefits, hopefully these organizations are making sure people are fed. We're just saying, shout out in the comments those that you know, churches, libraries, so on and so forth, where they're feeding these people, right? We see certain articles online, just shout it out. There ain't nothing wrong with it. It's time. Again, that's that. You want your praise session, Christians? Put in there the goodness of God on display. Goodness on display. That's another one of these acronyms we use. Put it up. Who's providing who, where, with what? We're just saying what it is. Flood the algorithm with that. Right? But we know we're too selfish to do that. So again, have your own police force. Shout out our Native brothers and sisters for operating out of wisdom, right? You don't have to rely on them. Same thing with food. Getting into this, I got into a little conversation about Jade Cargill. Shout out, sis. Shout out, right? Shout out, sis, right? This is the thing, right? Black woman, first Jamaican black woman to win the women's wrestling women's championship. So again, I believe Big E, right, who just retired from an unfortunate neck injury, right? He was kind of the inspirational leader of the New Day, right? And Jade Cargill has come over now from the family. Of course, we bring in her wrestling prowess to question, We do that a lot. Although we know at the same time, right, coming over from AEW to WWE, again, we know there needed to be some polish with her wrestling. There still is. We understand that she was, for the work she has put in, she was rewarded with the WWE Championship. We get it, right? As the older lady wrestlers are going, toward retirement, greener pastures. We're just saying what it is, okay? As you get older, you're thinking about family, stuff like that. Ain't nothing wrong with it, okay? The new crop that has come up, like Tiffany Stratton, like over on Raw. What's her name? The one who does that Pop Rocks move. Forgot her name. I know there's Raquel Rodriguez. It's the other. It's the shorter Hispanic girl that's Latina that's there. What I forgot her name. My apologies, man. We talked about her a lot from NXT. Now it's bothering me a little bit. Give me 1 second, man. Oh man. Yeah, okay. Roxanne Perez. Yeah, Roxanne Perez, man. My bad, y'all. Right, Roxanne Perez. Okay. Which we can make the same kind of thing here with Raquel Rodriguez, right? If we're okay giving the belt to Kevin Nash as a champion, we're okay giving the belt to the Big Show as a champion. See, I think there's just levels of dishonesty that's involved. Say the whole story. It's my same thing that I have with Dominic Mysterio. Okay, we understand Ray. We understand he gonna have some cheese. He gonna have a little bit of chicken thrown his way because his dad is who his dad is. It's all right. Okay, that's just the point of being born into it. Unfortunately, we make this like it's wrong or something. No. You get benefits from being born into a family. Mm-hmm. This is what's unfortunate about degrading other ones and not allowing them to come up. But that's besides the point. Again, avoid going to jail, family. If they want to cut out the foolishness. There is no such thing as street cred. That mess is trash, family. Listen, folks who kind of started this, we understand there's gangs all over, but the ones who popularized this mess here in North America, right? That's why I was getting back to talking about how the brother on Real Black Consciousness Forum says a certain thing. The wilderness of North America, in the territory that we call the United States, or that is called, I like saying it as is called the United States, because that's what it is. They have told us that's what this is called. But this is, you just look up the word wilderness, people gonna make wilderness sound like it's weird. This is open land for us to live at, family, and that's what was happening. And then somebody came in and said, y'all don't exist. Nobody was here, and created a whole story here, right? Again, one of which we celebrate on Thanksgiving, not realizing Native people were already thankful for the harvest they got from the Great Spirit and had feasts that then when Massa came, they took it, twisted it, and turned it into this, hey, we thankful for the bounty. You mean the stuff you stole? Anyway, and we keep doing a good dance every year around it. That's fine, And unfortunately, because of the sickness and twistedness of Massa, we have very kind-hearted, awesome emotions and thoughts and moments wrapped around such sickness when you could have just said it a certain way and just came over here and been kind and good to these people as they responded in kind to you, seeing you broken and destroyed, needing help. But ain't that normally how deceivers work, family, right? That's how adversaries work. Again, while we could understand why our Muslim brothers and sisters call the so-called white man the devil, again, we know it's not all of them. But the mess has been passed around to a bunch of us in all people groups that we have to be careful of. I'm not just going to stick with one people group just because it supposedly gives me some covering against what other people groups could do, especially if in that one people group I'm supposed to stick to is already screwed up. And in many cases, family, when you go in these inner cities, that's what you're watching. Of course, President Trump is going to say like everything is so sick, not realizing who helped them get that sick. But that's besides the point. At the end of the day, there's a personal responsibility that we have to stop hurting ourselves. That's real. We don't need no government help for that. Just like we don't need no government help to be on the come up. I bring up this about Jade Cargill, whether wrestling talent or not, because again, unfortunately, WWE is making money off the black image. Making it seem like it's a flex when you know this company, oh, everybody can change that. Yeah, we know. At the end of the day, family, that is exactly what the abuser does. Switches up a thing, makes it look like they're for you, only to kick you further in the nuts later on. That's what this is, y'all. It's time for us to get, it is cool to be on the come up in WWE. But that's no matter where you go. Right? Let me see here on this one. Sorry for the delay there. It's just, this is something that I had to look up here. Man, I'm trying to figure out where it was. Shelton Benjamin, and then somebody in the comments remembers, you know, shout out your boy. Shelton Benjamin had made a stop in a black, ASE. There you go, sweet. ASE. Shout out ASE Wrestling in Charlotte, North Carolina. Woo! Right? Flair country, as they say. This was back in June 2024. Right? Shout out Shelton. Again, family, take your influence and support your own people. And we understand, you know, in doing this in WWE, you pave a way for more people. We get it. But at the end of the day, do not allow them to profit off our profit. Because they do. If they care, they're going to show it. And too many times, what they're doing with Jey Uso right now is trash. We make no excuses. They're playing around with that man and his influence that he has with the fans because they don't want to see no yeeting. This is not good. We're just saying what it is. Nobody walking around with no championship bunch of people on some hip-hop music yeeting. Right? Talking about it's on me, Oos. Day one ish, it's on me, Oos. No, nobody is... I don't want that. But I digress. Right, family? We just wanted to bring that information to you today. Again, we said we didn't want to keep you long. Prison suing states to put you in jail. A combined revenue, let's see, in the 2017, off this article, I didn't read it, but we're going to leave y'all with this. In the 2017 fiscal year, GEO Group and Civic Corps earned a combined revenue of more than $4 billion. Again, this is called, the article from Tufts University is called Prison Contracts, Profits, and Politics. Maybe I'll leave the link in the description bar on this episode here so people can, find it. That's what they signing up for, $4 billion. Ain't nobody got no money. They making it off our dysfunction, family. No more. Right? No more. So that's what I got for y'all today, family. Thank you very much for walking this road with me. Right? Again, information is hard to hear, but necessary. That's where we at. No more excuses, family. They don't give you an excuse when you ain't got that money to pay for your mortgage. They kick you right out. We treat our bodies like trash and catch a disease as a result. There is no more excuses, right? Let's encourage each other in this kind of regard. And we're going to make it, no matter what they throw at us. They can keep their SNAP benefits. We're going to be all right. Right? We band together as community. That's where it works. Thank you, family, for walking this road with me. I love y'all. God bless y'all, right? Until next time. And as always, look to find the beauty in a different view.